The Shroud of Turin traveled throughout history, surviving fire and weathers. He underwent a lot of research by archaeologists, which reveals that the Shroud of Turin was actually an article from the 1st century. A negative from a photo taken of the shroud reveals someone who was crucified. Moving on to the second floor of the exhibition in Notre Dame Center, botanic research shows the cloth was most likely from Jerusalem. There were also instruments of torture from the Roman period and a bronze statue created from the negative of the photo. Let's check it out. From the shroud, we can see the cruelty of the Romans, but also reveal a certain amount of tenderness.
Tenderness?
Here, someone probably placed flower petals on the wounds of this person's head.
If that person is Jesus, then the one who placed the flowers on his wounds must have been his mother, the Virgin Mary.
Research identified 3 types of flower petals native to Hebron and Jerusalem. Some bloom in early spring, others bloom late, but only there do these 3 flowers bloom at a similar time.
Oh, other than those flower petals, I can also see 2 imprints of coins.
From this imprint, some archaeologists believe that the dead person in the image was from the 1st century because these coins were used during the time of Pontius Pilate. From the shroud, you can see blood stain around the head. These blood stains should have come from a crown of thorns.
It was said that the Roman soldiers ridiculed Jesus about being the king of the Jews, therefore putting a crown of thorns on his head. Even the Roman governor wrote, "He is a king," in 3 different languages on the inscription on his crucifix.
The whip looks quite unique. It has round weights and spikes on the end.
The spiked are lamb bones. The Roman soldiers deliberately used these whips to inflict as much pain and suffering on the prisoner as possible, shredding skin and flesh until no part of him was left untouched. They were extremely cruel.
These nails are so long.
They were used to nail people on the cross.
That's so cruel.
Other than these pains, the worst part was that he could not breathe because his body weight dragged him down, causing oxygen deprivation. Most people take 1 to 2 days to die. The chest area on the Shroud of Turin shows a huge blood stain. Experts discovered that a sharp object punctured his thigh, causing both blood and water to flow out, staining the cloth.
What happened after he died?
Do you even have to ask? Of course, he was taken down, wrapped in linen cloth, and brought to the tomb. Otherwise, how would we have the Shroud of Turin?
People were not necessarily buried in a tomb. There are different methods. Some were buried above ground, some buried below. This is the front lounge area. The body would be laid at the back.
Father, what's covered over there?
It's a bronze statue. Do you remember that Italian lawyer that took a photo of the Shroud of Turin?
Oh, I remember. He was the one that found the person's image made from the negative of his photos.
Exactly. Later in 1974, a Frenchman created a 3D image from the negative. Then an Italian professor made the statue from that 3D image.
Seeing the injuries all over his body, I can truly feel his pain.
For someone who has been through so much torture, how can his face remain so peaceful?
I believe this was Jesus, the one who died on the cross for our sins. I now especially feel the love he has for me.
That's why a lot of believers who come to Jerusalem must touch the place where he died and was buried. Let's go and experience for ourselves.